If you want to carry a bubbly caffeinated drink in your pocket, check out this. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. I picked up this. It's by SIS, Science in Sport. And they make little tablets like these that go into drinks. Now, this one is actually kind of interesting. I'm curious to check it out because it says cola flavor. They make them in some other flavors too, like some fruit flavors and whatnot. But what this has is caffeine, and it has electrolytes, which is what plants crave. So maybe you're working out, maybe you're sweating a lot, you know, you're on a hike, you're out in the wilderness on adventure, you just might need to replenish those electrolytes. Power up. This may be a way to take something that's delicious as well as energizing. Now, I picked this up because I was kind of thinking, is it like carrying a Coke in your pocket? I'm kind of curious how closely it will replicate an actual pop. Now, it comes in this little tube, which just reminds me of like all the Nun type of tablets, those types of things. And I'm just going to open the sucker up. And we get these little tablets here. They are kind of the size of like a large spree. And what it says to do here is to drop this into 500 milliliters of water. Now, most water bottles I have are 1,000 milliliters. So my guess is you could probably take 2 of these and dump it in. But 500 milliliters is actually not a lot. It's actually like a tall glass of water. So I have a clear glass of water here because I wanted to show you what ends up happening. Looks like it starts effervescing right away, and I think it's probably going to take a couple of minutes for this to really completely dissolve. So what I want to let this do is do its thing, and then we will come back and check it out and do a little taste test. And what I've noticed is that it takes about 5 minutes for this to dissolve, but it's funny because as the tablet dissolves, it starts bouncing around and now has ended up sitting up here at the top doing its final dissolving. I will say, it looks a little bit more like a beer, like an ale, than it does pop. It's definitely not dark black like a real cola. But interestingly, it kind of smells like cola or pop. Yes, I'm from the Midwest. All right, so as I mentioned, it actually smells like it, but the color is not quite there. Now, I do want to say that it's fully dissolved, and it didn't take that long to dissolve, which is kind of nice. So I kind of want to try this out and see what it's like. Yeah, I guess it has kind of a weak cola taste. It almost tastes like a mixed drink because it's really watered down. So kind of reminds me of like when you take some other drink and mix it with cola. It tastes to me like you took a Coke and then also took an equal amount of water. It's just kind of watered down. It doesn't have that pop. It has a little bit of that effervescence, which is kind of nice because you kind of expect that with that cola taste. So a little bit of that carbonation in there, which is kind of cool. Otherwise, flat pop is kind of weird to drink. It tastes kind of funny, but it's not overly heavy, so it actually kind of feels refreshing as opposed to a pop, which feels like a much heavier drink. And so I can see this as something that you would want to drink while working out because, I mean, feels like it'd be pretty hydrating. Now, you're probably getting those electrolytes and all the stuff that SIS advertises, which is really good, but it's one of these things where you just make the water a little more interesting. The tingles of bubbles on your tongue is really nice. The mild taste of a cola. You know what? I'm going to do a little desert hiking this spring, and I thought, why not take this along too? Add it to water, have a nice refreshing drink, replenish those electrolytes as you sweat them out. So if you're doing something and you're exerting yourself hard and you like the taste of a pop, but you don't want the heaviness and the unhealthy sugar of a pop, check this out. I'll put a link to it in the description below. Peter Von Panda. Out. If you want to carry a bubbly caffeine...